Cape Canaveral, Florida, SpaceX is going for its second attempt on Saturday to launch NASA astronauts after severe weather postponed the mission on Wednesday. The agency and space company are aiming to launch the Demo 2 mission at 3:22 p.m. ET. You can read a full overview of the mission here. This is a live blog. Please refresh the page to see updates. The SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket fired up its engines and took off, launching 2 NASA astronauts in the company's Crew Dragon capsule. With 5 minutes to go until launch, the SpaceX Crew Dragon spacecraft has now transitioned to internal power. This is one of the final steps before liftoff. The SpaceX launch director gave the go call to begin fueling the Falcon 9 rocket, with 45 minutes until launch. Next, the company will arm the emergency escape system, 2 minutes before fueling begins. Just moments prior, the launch director said that weather is go at this time, meaning that the predicted thunderstorms in the region are holding off. NASA and SpaceX are 1 hour away from the scheduled liftoff time. You can watch the live stream here. NASA Administrator Jim Bridenstine gave an update on the weather forecast, which he said shows thunderstorms headed to the launch area. Bridenstine said that, with launch set for 3:22 p.m., the severe weather could clear by 3 p.m. at the earliest and 3:30 p.m. at the latest. He added that the weather trend is better today than it was on Wednesday. NASA astronauts Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley took an elevator up to the top of the tower at Launch Pad 39A at Kennedy Space Center. The astronauts walked out to the end of the Crew Access Arm, 255 feet above the ground, and then got into the Crew Dragon spacecraft, where they got strapped into their seats. With less than 3 hours to go until launch, Behnken and Hurley arrived at Launch Pad 39A, where the Falcon 9 rocket and Crew Dragon spacecraft are waiting to launch them into space. NASA astronauts Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley walked out of the Neil Armstrong Operations and Checkout Building and got in the Tesla Model X that will carry them to the launch pad. NASA astronauts Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley are putting on their SpaceX spacesuits, with about 4 hours to go until liftoff. The agency and space company are together hosting nearly 24 hours of coverage of the first portion of the mission, from about 4 hours before launch until the spacecraft is scheduled to dock with the International Space Station on Thursday. The latest forecast from the U.S. Air Force's 45th Space Wing showed a 50% probability of another weather delay, which will be watched closely throughout the countdown. The Air Force will be closely watching for thunderstorms that are expected early this afternoon. Subscribe to CNBC Pro for exclusive insights and analysis, and live business day programming from around the world.